The scariest verses in the New Testament aren't about atheists, pagans, or people out in the world. They're about people who think they belong to Yahusha. And that's exactly why this should terrify you. Because the two most frightening warnings in the New Testament aren't aimed first at the openly wicked, they're aimed at the religious crowd. The first is Matthew chapter 7, verse 21 to 23. Not everyone who says to me, Master, Master, will enter the kingdom. So let's stop there for a second, because these aren't unbelievers. These are people using his title, people claiming him, and people who fully expect to be received. And he says no. Why? Because they practice lawlessness. That means this passage destroys the fantasy that belief alone, ministry activity, or public religious language proves covenant alignment. It doesn't. You can preach, you can cast out demons, you can do works and still be outside if you live in lawlessness while using his name. And that's terrifying. The second is Hebrews chapter 10, verses 26 to 29. If we sin willfully after receiving the knowledge of the truth, there remains no more sacrifice for sins. That's not talking about someone who stumbles, repents, and returns, or someone who's broken and fighting sin. That's talking about deliberate rebellion after truth has already been received. And then it gets worse. It says they have trampled the Son of Elohim underfoot, counted the blood of the covenant as common, and insulted the Spirit of grace. That means grace is not a shield for lawlessness. The blood was not given so people could keep rebelling with a smile and a worship playlist. So put these two passages together. Matthew 7 says people can call him master and still be rejected. Hebrews 10 says people can receive the truth and still stand under judgment if they deliberately continue in rebellion. That's the real fear. Not missing a church service, not failing once, or being imperfect. The real fear is false assurance, using his name while refusing his standard, and claiming grace while living in open disobedience, and believing that you're safe while walking outside covenant order. And that's why these are the scariest verses in the New Testament, because they're not mainly aimed at the outsider. They're aimed at the person close enough to truth to think they're covered while they keep resisting what Yahusha actually upheld.